Aidan, what's up, man?
What's up? How are you today? How's it going?
Oh, we're having a good time. Aidan, I don't know if they warned you. I don't know if they told you, but we come in here, we're a tad bit high energy.
Okay,
Mainly
let's do it.
because, all right, can I keep it a buck? I don't keep it a buck with you.
Yeah.
You probably been asked the same questions 80 different times all day today.
Yeah, that would be an accurate assessment.
So what we do here, we do this thing called the over the top intro. We get some levity in here, and we talk like human beings. If that's okay with you, we're gonna get it rolling.
That's
I want to
great. That
butter
would be
your
a nice
bread. I
flow.
want to talk about you. We're gonna get it going. Is that okay?
That's okay. Let's do it.
All right, here we go. My next guest is an actor, musician, award-winning painter. He is an established young versatile actor well known for all of his feats on stage and film. You may know him from his work on Amazon's Botch, Dolly Parton's Heartstrings, and what we are here to talk about today, Roommates, released globally April 17th on Netflix. But I gotta do that. I gotta do that. Contracts right.
Yeah,
I gotta do
yeah.
that. Aidan Langford, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I love that intro. That was amazing.
Aidan, man, let's get into it, man. I have watched you in different forms. I've watched you in different projects, but I'm very curious. Like, I can't fake the funk, man. I watch you in Roommates. I want to ask this question before I get in depth. What drew you to this project?
I think that I just felt like a lot of relation towards Alex and his character. I feel like I went through a similar thing in my sort of journey of self-discovery and my coming out story. I came out at a similar age as Alex does in the film. So there was already sort of a connection between me and that character from the get-go. And then I also think just like the script as a whole, I mean, Jimmy and Kira, who wrote this amazing movie, they're just such talented writers and they're so funny and so talented. And the script reminded me a lot of some of the films from the early 2000s, like Mean Girls, which I love so much. I think it's a cult classic for sure. I hope that this film sort of goes and becomes a cult classic in the future. So those are kind of the things initially that drew me to this.
I like that because, like, this film, without giving too much away, does check a lot of the boxes of those coming of age films, and it does give you that feeling. But you specifically, your character is the little brother to Sadie Sandler's Devin.
Yes.
You are such a natural in that. I don't know if you give little brother vibes. I don't know if that was in the script, but how did you guys establish that type of chemistry? Because it just seemed natural.
Yeah. I mean, the chemistry we had on screen was also there when we weren't shooting and when we were just hanging out, whether it was, on set or in the green room or wherever in our trailers. I feel like we really hit it off right off the bat, which was super helpful in making it just so much easier because then you're not really acting when you're doing it. You're just hanging out with your older sister. And then I also have an older sister, so I know sort of what those relationships look like and how they work. And we got along really well. We related to each other on a lot of things, music especially. Sadie's a musician and very talented one. So we were able to talk about like just like the music that we liked, and if we were ever like, were a couple times we were in the car together, and we she would turn the radio on, and it would be songs that I already knew and already liked. So the chemistry was definitely there from the beginning.
So I like what you just said. It's like how you guys got along on set. What was it like on set? Because you're not working with some slouches. You're working with some heavy hitters in this film. So what was it like on set? Like we're talking some of like the creme de la creme that's happening right now. So what was it like on set?
Intimidating. I mean, it was before I got there, after I got the call. I was very intimidated and of course nervous, which I think are all sort of natural responses, especially because like some of these actors are people that I have looked up to and watched for years. Um, I've said this before, but I'm such a fan of Natasha Lyonne and her work. I think I was first introduced to her with Orange is the New Black, which is still one of my all-time favorite shows on Netflix. So knowing that I was about to be in scenes with these people and interact with them was definitely a little bit scary. But once you get there, the energy on set was just so lively, and everyone was like joking around, and there was a lot of banter, and Adam was there like every day and sort of helping keep the vibes like light and fun. So all of those like nerves and all of that intimidation kind of fell away. And I also think I learned a lot from working with some really like talented people.
One of the dopest things about this movie is because I looked at it, and this is how I looked at it. I watched it twice. I looked at it in the interview format, that what I'm doing now, and then I tried to watch it as a fan.
Right.
But in both cases, there's this old versus new format. I'm a bit of an older gentleman. I don't know if these grays let you know that I'm up there in age. But like when you talk about Natasha Lyonne, or you talk about a Nick Kroll, or you talk about Adam Sandler, and you talk about these guys who shaped my childhood, we're looking at other people like some of the newcomers. Nothing against Sadie, but Sadie, who is a newcomer, yourself, even though you've been in the game for a minute, we don't get on that. We don't get on that, but you're relatively new, and we're seeing these new people. What was the mesh in styles, or something that you may have taken away from this that someone probably in this position probably may have looked past? I don't want to call it just a job, but I got to be honest. If you're in a room with legends, maybe you've been there a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the one thing that I took away from this were some like lifelong friends and people that I really care about. Jaya, who is in it, she's amazing. I think she's such a hilarious comedic actress, and we're like reels buddies on Instagram. We're like sending
Mm.
each other reels all the time. So I definitely took away some like people that I really care about and I hope to work with again very soon. And it was also really cool to kind of see this like transition happening between like these really established actors and a lot of these like newcomers and almost like passing the torch. I mean, I think like Adam definitely like passing the torch to like Sadie and letting her have her own movie and doing her own thing. And I just really hope to like work with a lot of these people again. And I think that's also another really great thing about Happy Madison is that they're always kind of working with people that they know.
What was it like on set? I gotta ask, because like you got two very different dynamics happening here. The new
Yeah.
kids, the old guard, the passing of the torch, or people who just, I guess, at the right place at the right time. I hate to say it like that, but so what was it like on set?
It was like a dream. It really was though. I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was like probably my like favorite summer ever because I was doing what I love to do and with some really amazing people. But truly the vibes were like fun and lighthearted and everyone was like joking around and we were all doing something that we were really passionate about and that kind of brought everyone together. And like, yeah, I don't know, it felt like I was hanging out with just like a bunch of my friends.
All right. One of the questions I love asking the most, mainly because I love talking to creatives, and when you're in a room full of creatives, sometimes the world opens up and sometimes it closes when you're dealing with creatives. What was the most challenging part of, personally, about making this movie?
Gosh. I mean, I feel like there's several things that could be challenging. I mean, I think one of the more challenging things, there's a pretty emotional scene in it, and I don't want to like give too much away, but I was doing a lot of background work on that and just trying to figure out the perspective of Alex and all the emotions that he's feeling in that moment. And that scene I felt very just challenged by in a way. And it ended up working out great and I ended up doing a good job on it, but I was definitely a little bit nervous for that. Um, and then another like challenging thing was just getting kind of thrown into it and not knowing these people. And it goes back to like working with these actors that I've like looked up to for a very long time. That's kind of um it just sort of like shifts your brain in a weird way. It's kind of like I don't know if I can cuss on here, but it's kind of a
Yes,
like
you
a
can. Yes, you
okay
can. Yeah, you can
of like
say
a
whatever
mind
you
fuck a
feel.
little bit. You're like, whoa, I watched you for so long and now I'm in this position and that's a little bit jarring as well. Um, but I mean, there wasn't a whole lot that was like super, super like strenuous or crazy because the vibes were just like so light and fun for the most part.
All right. Hey, can I go meta for a second? Because my next question is a little meta and my part-time detective work because I am not with Scooby and the gang, but it doesn't take them to figure out around this time you was recording. You also had new music coming out around that time. This is
Yeah.
High Enough to Love. How did you balance being the actor versus being the musician around that time and the, trails that come from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think with those songs, I had recorded and written them prior to this. So I was able to kind of have those set away and ready to go. So I didn't have to think too much while I was shooting and while I was filming about the music. But the nice thing about living in 2026 is a lot of music is portable and I can take a lot of things kind of wherever I am. So I had my computer with me and I was able to go on Logic and just like mess around and play whenever I had downtime, which was a nice outlet to have that was separate from the job that I was doing and what I was, on set for. Um, so I had that and I was able to write music still at the same time. But I feel like, yes, those two things are separate, but there is a lot of like bleed through, just like on the creativity side. And I feel like at the end of the day, like no matter what it is you're doing creatively, you're always sort of telling a story.
The reason I asked that question, and there's a part B to this. The reason I asked that question is because musicians, after years of having this podcast and we talk to musicians, man, one good, bad, indifferent thing can mess up your life. You don't mean to, but you take that with you, you wear it as a badge of honor because music is such a vulnerable medium because you're expressing yourself so much in this. So, and I promise this is gonna come back to roommates because depending on what you were feeling at that time, depending on whatever reviews you got or whatever it takes, based on the music part, kind of sort of influenced Alex as a whole, the character that someone else is trying to portray. So I guess what I'm saying is, where's the disconnect between Alex and Aidan? Because, man, you played the hell out of this role, but the problem is they're so close that if one got messed with, the other will suffer, or even vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, whenever I'm working on a character, I'm always finding the similarities between myself and that person and then filling in whatever is different or whatever is not the same. And the nice thing about Alex was he did feel very similar to me and my life, which was nice. But I am able to sort of separate the two and almost like compartmentalize them because I'm doing all of this work in the background, like on my phone, doing like writing things down, scripting things out, figuring out my relationships with everybody. So it still does have that like separation and feels very separate to me. So there isn't as much bleed through in that way.
Okay. And selfishly, I'm going to ask this question. Is there more music coming?
There is, yeah. I'm working on an EP right now, so I have that in the works. I have a music video that I shot in Texas, actually. We shot that all on Super 8, which was super fun to do, working with film, doing everything analog. So yeah, there is more music coming. There's 6 songs on that EP. It's very kind of rock influenced. And I'm very excited for that to be coming out soon.
So, when I watch you as a person, I watch Alex the character, and I see Aidan the actor. I guess what I want to ask is this question. April 17th, Roommates come out. What do you want people to take away from this film?
Yeah, I think for the film, what I want people to take away from is that it's okay to share your feelings with other people and people that you are close with and people that you're friends with. Being open and honest is really important. And we see that with Alex being open with his sister, but also I think a lot of, Devin and Celeste's problems and a lot of that passive aggressive attitude that Celeste has towards Devin. I think a lot of that could have been avoided if they just talked to each other and shared their problems with each other and were honest. Because sort of the catalyst for all of it is people bottling their feelings up and maybe not being the most truthful with people that they should be truthful with.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But Aiden, man, you got so many projects. You got this, you got the music, you got the modeling, you got All right. First off, I have to ask this question. When do you sleep?
But I have the worst sleep schedule in the world. It's really bad. I'm up till like 2 a.m. And then if I have something going on the next day, then I'm up at 9 or 8. And then some days, if I don't have anything till the afternoon, I'll just sleep from 2 to 2 p.m. and enjoy it while I can. But yeah, my sleep schedule is erratic and not great. Something maybe I should work on in 2026.
Just saying. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, all right, you said it. All right. One of the things I also want to come out and say, thanks so much, man. You're actor, musician, model. You're doing your thing, and you are one of the child stars who didn't go crazy. Please don't go crazy. You did good. You did good. You're doing good.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, we made it. We made it to adulthood, kind of. I don't feel like an adult, but I look at my age and I'm like, oh, I
No
guess
one does.
I
See
guess
all
I
these
am.
ways. I'm still 12.
Exactly. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. But yeah, we made it. We made it out.
All right, but look, April 17th, the big day. It is roommates. I want people to see you do your thing. Um, you got so many projects. You are welcome back on the podcast whenever you want, but I do want you to talk about it a little bit. Do you have anything else on the horizon?
Yeah, so aside from the EP that I'm working on and that I'm hoping to have come out possibly over the summer, still a couple of things need to line up. I also am working on a short film right now that I'm writing with a good friend of mine who's also a writer, writing something for film and TV, something that I've never dove that deep into. I think as an actor, you can always tell a good writer from a bad writer. And so it's interesting to then write from the perspective of an actor. And that has been a really like rewarding experience overall. And I'm really excited for that. It's a horror, which is something that I have a lot of respect and admiration for and enjoy. I mean, I'm not the best with jump scares, but I do love a campy body horror type
Yeah.
situation. So I'm excited for that, and that hopefully we're gonna hit the ground running with that.
Well, Aiden, man, much love, much respect. You are welcome back on this podcast whenever you want. We can chop it up. I just wish you the most success, mainly because you're doing it right. You took the bull by the horns. You saw what you wanted to do, and now you're just making it happen, man. So much respect.
Hey,
And
thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're doing
all
our
right,
best.
I know, I know. All right, I have to ask. Can I? Man, this has been I gotta ask. This is very selfish. If you want me to cut this out, I will cut this out. You're from
Okay.
Texas. Now you live in LA. You see all of this stuff right here. You a Dodgers fan or you an Astros fan? Where we are in the baseball aspect of things.
No, I'll get canceled. I don't actually keep up with sports that
All right,
much.
makes sense. All right, you can stop
But
right there. Don't hurt yourself.
okay, I'll save myself. I don't know. I don't keep up.
All right, I'm a Tigers fan in my heart. Our opening day is tomorrow. Obviously, you see the regalia, you see what it is. Look, while getting ready for this interview and all the good things you were doing, I was sitting back thinking, yo, where does he sit? Where is he on the, if you're not, you're not. But I was like, is he, so, like, everything in me strikes you as Dodgers fan, but I was like, I don't know, maybe we should just ask him.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
All right, fair enough. So, Aidan, you've been awesome. You're welcome back to this podcast anytime you want. Thank you so much for just giving us a little bit of your time. And man, enjoy your success, man. It's awesome. And that's all I got for right now, man. Just keep doing you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome back anytime. Have a great one, Aidan.
You too. Bye.
All right.